who wants to step into the pocket. Do you have what it takes? And now, the Pocket Present Podcast, presented by FRESHOUSE Juice Bar and PILBROIII Inc. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Pocket Presents Podcast. I'm your host, Dante DeTomas, alongside my co-host, Nick Saps.
How's it going, everybody?
And we got a running back-filled edition for you guys today. But before we start, we'd like to thank our sponsors, FRESHOUSE Juice Bar, guys. Check them out. They got two locations, one at Keele and Major Mac, and another one at Pine Valley and Highway 7. Go to Mike for all your needs. The healthiest juices out there. I'm probably gonna have a killer shot after this show. I don't know about you, Nick, but
I'm gonna have a mocha for breakfast.
You're gonna have a mocha, perfect.
Yeah.
And of course, we'd like to thank our other sponsor, PILBROIII Carpentry, guys. The Pileggi family has been doing this for 30 years for all your carpentry needs. Talk to Tony; he's unbelievable. They build homes, not houses. And of course, Nick, here we are. Mm-hmm. Another running back filled edition this time.
Yep.
Talked about the quarterbacks last week. Guys, check that out. Our first ever episode. You'll get all the details about quarterbacks. But today is the running backs. So, Nick, what do you think? Who do you think's that? I mean, it's different this year, right, with running backs? It's very different.
It's very different this year because a lot of teams are looking at the running back position as sort of being a little more devalued as opposed to prior years of, from the 2000s to about 2010 when, every running back was a bell cow. And this year in free agency, there wasn't very much movement in the running back position. There was Todd Gurley, first off, being released by the Rams and signed a one-year deal with the Falcons, as well as David Johnson being traded from the Cardinals to the Texans, who was once considered a bell cow running back, and now he's going to have to try to split the load with the other running backs in Houston as a committee, and there's a lot more committees in the NFL now.
That's the thing. Like, I remember back in the day, I think a lot of us do that have played fantasy football, and you just remember those days where Le'Veon Bell with the Steelers would get 40 touches a game, you know what I mean?
Yep.
There's not too many of those. So when you're drafting guys this year, you want to look at those running backs and you want to say, okay, here's the McCaffreys, here's the Derrick Henrys, here's the Saquons. You want those guys that are going to get touches, but at the same time, they get those goal line carries, right?
Absolutely.
So
touchdowns are very important.
I guess we can talk into that, right? Who do you think's going to be that breakout star this year?
Breakout star? I'm going to go really, really off the board here. I'm going to go with the rookie running back that the Kansas City Chiefs drafted, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bold.
Damian Williams opted out, and I feel that this guy can do it all. He can catch passes out of the backfields from Mahomes. He can run between the tackles. He can bust it outside and take it to the house. Big play, big home run hitter. And that's my very bold prediction for running backs this season.
Do you think he'll have any competition there, or do you think he'll just be with Mahomes, I think that's a very, very smart idea. I mean, that Kansas City offense, it's going to put up 30 points a game.
Absolutely. No
problem. Mahomes will get his 3-4 touchdowns. If anybody could stop this guy between him or Lamar Jackson, but it's just incredible. It's just incredible. I have somebody that I'm going to be targeting as well.
Okay.
But I don't think a lot of people are gonna know this guy too much. They're gonna sleep on him.
All right.
And sadly, he plays against my Dolphins. But I gotta go with Devin Singletary.
Okay.
I think Devin Singletary, what he showed me last season, his explosiveness. If Buffalo can get him and Josh Allen going in the rushing game, and that read option like they do in Baltimore, I think the Buffalo Bills, that Bills Mafia, could be pretty damn dangerous.
Fair.
So I love Devin Singletary. I know everybody obviously is gonna, look at the Derrick Henrys and the McCaffreys. Those are no-brainers.
Yep.
But I wanted to talk to Nick about you with Tom Brady. Because in Tampa Bay, we've seen Brady work with the running backs in New England.
Right.
Remember the Danny Woodheads, the James Whites. The list goes on and on.
Right.
Rex Burkhead, former Bengal. So the list goes on and on with Tom Brady. Who do you think's gonna emerge as that guy in Tampa Bay?
Well, new coach, COVID, nobody knows what's happening,
exactly,
the depth charts and all that sort of stuff. But I think they should give the first crack to Ronald Jones. He was a very early round pick for the Tampa Bay Bucks a few years back. And I believe that he came on strong last year, and I believe that he deserves the first crack at being that guy for Tom Brady and for that Buccaneers offense. What do you think?
I agree. I think Ronald Jones has showed me a lot of explosiveness last year. He did find the end zone a few times in that Jameis Winston interception-filled offense. That offense last year for Tampa Bay was the most unpredictable thing I would ever see in my life.
Yep.
So Jameis Winston 1 week would get 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And then the next week he would, God knows how much, two touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He had, what was it? I can't remember his stats, but it was pretty close to touchdowns to interceptions. It was pretty close.
ESPN 30 for 30. 30 touchdowns, 30 picks.
There you go. Jameis Winston, he's on the Saints now, so he's probably going to be backing up Drew Brees.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the thing with some teams, Nick, right? It's like, for some teams, you never touch running backs, like the Saints.
Right.
Who are some other teams that, you wouldn't even touch those running backs at all?
Definitely stay away from the committees. So a few teams that come to mind right away would be Baltimore. They got Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards. They drafted a guy last year in the second round. Justice Hill. They also drafted J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. Until that situation gets figured out, it's very murky right now. I would stay away from the Ravens running backs unless you can grab an Ingram.
Or Lamar Jackson is a running back, I guess.
He pretty much is a big part of their running game.
20
for sure.
carries a game.
Who else comes to mind? Let's think about
Philly.
it here. Philly, yeah, they got a ton of guys.
Philly's a funny team. I look at this team, and obviously I look at Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz, but I just can't understand how they don't have a run game. Like, I don't know who the heck's going to emerge out of this thing. Like, last year, they had, like, these Jay Ajayis and
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders. I had no idea what this team was doing. Like, stick to one guy, so I think Wentz can build around.
Right.
And go from there. Like, Philly had so much potential last year.
Right.
I truly think they did.
Right.
And
I agree.
You know what I mean? And that division, too, like, Washington's a joke. Washington football team, like, really? And then, what else do we have? The Giants. They always gave Philly a hard time for some reason.
Yeah.
And then, of course, your Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
And that's another team, too. Let's move on to the Cowboys. Zeke Elliott, do you think he's going to be a breakout candidate, you think, this year?
I think he is going to...
Are they going to feed him?
They have to feed him. I believe that's a very good recipe for success for the Dallas Cowboys because, they have all the weapons on offense with Amari and all those guys and the tight ends and Michael Gallup, and they just drafted CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
But, I'm old school, and I believe in pounding the rock, and feeding Zeke Elliott is a very good recipe for success for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, and that's the thing, too. It opens up the play-action pass for Dak Prescott, right? So it opens up the play-action. All of a sudden, Dak's got a ton of weapons, right? Amari Cooper, as you said, who I probably assume he's going to see a lot of double teams this year.
Absolutely.
So if you want, like, we'll get to wide receivers next week, but stay tuned for that. But it should be interesting. The Cowboys I'm really looking forward to this year. Should be a good team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should be a very good team. Dak's, he's still coming off. I don't know. Did he get that contract?
Not yet. He's playing on the franchise tag. And
oh, man.
He very badly wants a long-term deal. He wants to be a Cowboy for life.
Let's just say Dak is motivated.
Absolutely.
Dak is motivated.
Absolutely.
Should be good.
Getting back to our point, Zeke Elliott being, we'll call it a focal point of the offense.
Right.
There aren't too many running backs nowadays that are the sort of bell cows and focal points of their offense.
Right.
My question to you is, do running backs still matter in today's NFL?
I personally think they do. Obviously in fantasy and in real life, but in real life, definitely. And I got to tell you, there's few teams where they're literally the heart of the offense.
Right.
And I could go right at you and say the Carolina Panthers without Christian McCaffrey is absolutely nothing.
It's absolutely
Absolutely not. Every play, Christian McCaffrey gets a handoff 4 yards. Christian McCaffrey catches a pass 7 yards. Christian McCaffrey rushes the ball for 2 yards.
Absolutely.
Christian McCaffrey rushes the ball for 3 yards. Every single play is Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
And then we can move out of a different approach with Derrick Henry.
Right, absolutely. He single-handedly willed Tennessee to the AFC Championship game last year.
And he threw a pass for a touchdown
He
against
did.
Baltimore.
He did.
So
to Corey Davis.
Nobody expected at all. So I think Derrick Henry is another masterpiece for that offense.
Absolutely.
In Tennessee, I am so excited for that.
Absolutely.
He's gonna. Let's just say I'm gonna tell you guys point blank. He's gonna run over the Jags twice. He's gonna run over the Colts twice, and Houston twice. So Houston, good luck. You're gonna have a freight train coming at you 2 games in a row. Or not 2 games in a row, but 2 games in the AFC, in the AFC South every year. Same with the Colts, same with the Jags. So I just nobody can stop. I've seen this guy's workouts,
right?
And like we've all seen it on Instagram. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
this guy's running up hills, throwing medicine balls. He is just on another planet of fitness and physical physique.
Absolutely.
And I don't think anyone wants to tackle this guy.
True. I agree, but also on the contrary, there are some teams that are taking the approach where they have 3 or 4 guys that can do one thing very well, and that's where a lot of teams, I believe, are moving. Perfect example, we talked about it earlier, Baltimore.
Yeah.
They have 4 guys, Justice Hill, Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins.
Right.
And that is very key in terms of keeping all 4 backs healthy and all 4 backs fresh for, crucial 3rd or 4th downs late in the game. And like I said, keeping them fresh. Last year, they absolutely demolished the Bengals in their second game.
Yeah.
And by the second quarter, I believe Mark Ingram got some rest, and Gus Edwards and Justice Hill were taking carries.
Against your Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 32nd against the run, you deserve to get talked about because that's just pathetic. Also, another team, they won the Super Bowl a few years ago against New England, the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a few guys obviously aren't on the team anymore. They've moved on, this and that. But Corey Clement, he caught a few touchdowns in the game.
I really like that guy.
Yeah, I
really
believe
like
Jay Ajayi, he was their bruiser, we'll call it.
Yep.
And their goal line back. And now you got Miles Sanders.
Yep.
Darren Sproles is also on that team, and he retired, so we wish Darren well in retirement. And you see a lot more teams taking that approach because the running back position is becoming a little bit more devalued. And another big offseason move, like we mentioned earlier, Todd Gurley getting released by the Rams. He was a bell cow for them for the first 3-4 years of his contract.
I was shocked by that. I really was.
Agreed.
I was
Agreed.
shocked.
Agreed.
I mean, they honestly, they did that guy dirty. They did that guy dirty, and now he goes to the ATL,
And, running backs, like we say all the time, they're always at the bottom of the scrums. They're always the last one up. They take a lot of hits, and, it definitely wears them out and it wears them down.
Exactly.
And I believe that was the case with Todd Gurley, and that's
his knees were shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And you even saw it with Atlanta. Devontae Freeman, he's still a free agent.
Yeah.
Whether that's injury concerns or that's because the running back position is starting to get looked at a little bit less and less in terms of value by coaches and GMs and teams.
That's the thing. And they want their money fast, running backs,
Absolutely.
because that's one of those positions where if you get hurt, that money's going to go away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they want to get paid quick. It's hard to find a durable running back.
Absolutely.
Nick, let's talk about more of the tandems, the duos. Who's your best 1-2 punch in the NFL for running backs right now? I can tell you one that comes off to mind.
Sure, you go first.
I like the Green Bay Packers.
All right.
And what they're doing there with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, I am in love with this thing.
Okay.
In fantasy, it's kind of sucky sometimes because Aaron Jones will get 30 points one game and then Jamal Williams will get 2 touchdowns the next game.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the risk you play.
But at the same time, what they're doing in Green Bay and managing that offense, I loved it.
Right.
I loved it, and I think it continues this year a lot.
Okay.
And Aaron Jones is so explosive. Same with Jamal Williams. They're two
Absolutely.
incredible backs.
Very good backs.
And they got great pass protection skills. They can
Mm-hmm.
definitely protect Rodgers. It's up to the other offensive linemen to protect Rodgers, but
Right.
they have stone cold some guys right on the line
Right.
there. And I love that 1-2 punch.
Okay.
I really do.
I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, wow.
First off, they got a great O-line, and that's always great. That's music to every running back's ears, running behind a great, solid O-line.
Yep.
So they got Marlon Mack, who can do a little bit of
Mac
everything.
attack, baby. The Mac
Yep.
attack.
They got Jonathan Taylor, who they just drafted in this past draft. And they also got Nyheim Hines, who can catch passes out of the backfield and be that third down receiving back sort of type.
Right.
So I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts.
Listen, I like that offensive line too. I think Quentin Nelson is one of the scariest freaking people in this league.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Quentin Nelson is an absolute tank, and I like Marlon Mack probably loves running right by that guy.
Absolutely.
'Cause, listen, the Indianapolis Colts were very good on the ground last year.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are probably you look it up, guys. You're gonna see Indianapolis Colts, and you're gonna be like, what? Well, because over the years, you're not thinking Indianapolis. You're thinking
Absolutely.
these ground and pound teams, right? But Indianapolis, back in the day, they used to have, obviously, well, we could go way back with Peyton Manning, but even Andrew Luck, right? He didn't have much of
a running game.
right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I can't even imagine what that team would have looked like with Andrew Luck with a run game. But
yeah.
anyways, now we're here are the Indianapolis Colts now.
Yep.
We got Phillip Rivers now.
Phillip Rivers, yep.
So that should be interesting. It
Very
takes the load
interesting.
off Phillip Rivers, right?
Absolutely.
So
and he's not getting any younger.
And I think that's a very smart move by Phillip Rivers because at San Diego, or not San Diego, Los
Angeles, yep.
he wasn't getting protected. He
No.
wasn't getting protected as well, and he's got big bad Quentin Nelson right in the center,
Yep.
ripping people's heads off.
Absolutely.
And that should be interesting.
Yep.
But Nick, I think we covered a good foundational base this year. Guys, if you have any more questions for us, please DM us and let us know. Next week we are starting the Pocket Dial segment, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be absolutely massive. You guys get to call in. You get to call in live on our show, ask us anything you want, talk about anything you want.
Yep.
And you let us know. We'll take care of you. Just send us a DM on the Pocket Presence Pod on Instagram and on our email, pocketpresencepod@yahoo.com.
And one more thing. There's going to be a lot of running backs that are going to get paid this offseason. So we'd like to know in the comment section down below, out of, let's say, Leonard Fournette, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, and Dalvin Cook, which running back do you think deserves to get paid and deserves to be that top 10 fantasy pick for you guys?
It's a great question, Nick. It's a great question. I could personally answer that. I think it's Dalvin Cook.
Okay, fair.
But we'll see. What do you think?
I'm biased as hell. Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
He deserves to get paid. He runs behind a shit O-line week in and week out, and he still puts up fantastic numbers. So he's my man.
Joe Mixon, who knows? We can maybe get the whole trio here. We got a running back,
Why not?
quarterback, and wide receiver.
Why not Joe Squared and AJ Green?
There you go.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
There you go. Well, that's it for us, guys. Before we leave, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Again, Fresh House Juice Bar. Check them out, guys. Keela Major Mac in Pine Valley and Highway 7 for all your Fresh House needs. You go straight to Mike. And, of course, PILBROIII Carpentry. They're the best. Go straight to Tony. They've been doing it for over 30 years, the PILBROIII family. And that's it for us. Stay tuned for more episodes. And, of course, follow us on YouTube and Instagram at the Pocket Presence Pod. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.